Welcome to This Week in Missouri Politics. Busy week in the legislature, but the campaign season is underway. We are joined by a guy at the center of all of it, former representative, now running for State Senate in the 15th, Representative David Gregory. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
So tell folks where the 15th is. St. Louis County, but what part?
Yeah, St. Louis County, but it's the west part of the county. So you're talking Chesterfield and Baldwin and Wildwood and Town and Country, Ellisville, all the wonderful parts of West County.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have you on because you just went to the border.
That's right.
Not the border of St. Louis County, not the border of Missouri. You went to the border of the United States and Mexico. I've seen some of the footage that you took. You almost think it's such a crisis that it couldn't be real. Tell folks what you saw.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I went there, thankfully escorted by a border agent. But when you get there, you're like, I'm going to see the wall and take some photos, right? Do a little learning and understanding, and I'll go home. Well, it's crazy. It's you wherever you are. All of a sudden, here come illegal immigrants just walking up. That's it. You'll see them. You'll see patrol cars whizzing by. There's a lot of action. It is so bold. The reputation of Joe Biden is out so much that these illegal immigrants, they don't even care. They just walk right by you. They walk right by border agents. Some of them sit down and wait for the border agents to come get them because they know they'll just claim asylum and they'll be in the United States free.
Wow, for your room and board, right? You come across there. So what's it like? I saw a photograph of you. It looked like you and your brother. So the wall ends at a certain point, and there's just nothing. Like I could, I'm not the quickest on my feet. I could walk right around the wall, the part of the wall that's done. You just walk around to the part that's not done. You walk right into the United States of America.
Yeah, and that's the part I saw. So of course, when Joe Biden took office, the very first day, he reversed all of Donald Trump's executive orders protecting our border, and he bragged about it. He took a victory lap about it. Those were some of the first things he did to reverse course on what Donald Trump did. Well, one of those is stop the building of the wall, right? And so there's just huge gaps. By gaps, I mean miles long gaps. And so the drug cartels are organized. They know exactly where to drop off their drug runners, their mules. They know exactly where to train people to go. And those are the people I saw. So when I'm in this gap thinking, I'm trying to learn what's going on, just time and time again, illegals just walking up, some of them just sitting there.
I saw myself, and on the show I've talked about it, that the Missouri Department of Labor actively does nothing. They're proud of the fact. I don't know what they actually do for a living over there, but they do nothing about illegal immigrants, and they're thrilled to tell you we are worthless. It feels like the border controls, when Biden took over, whatever you think of his other policies of him as a president, it does feel like he just fundamentally doesn't care.
100%. He can't deny it. I know now he's trying to reverse course and act like he's going to be the hero supporting the fix, but he is the problem that we need to fix. And so
when you talk to those guys, what could they do? I mean, when you talk to the Department of Labor here in the state, they actively tell you not only do we do nothing, we're proud of it, and we're never going to do anything. When you talk to the border control guys on the ground, what do they say could be done?
Well, that's just it. So obviously they're never going to take an official position against the President of the United States, right? Fair enough. But they are frustrated. They're very frustrated. They are going to do their job. They tell me they're going to make arrests. They're going to find these people. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. But when there's an executive order saying if these people say the word asylum or say I'm scared, that's it. You must release them into the United States. And so they're really frustrated. They're basically making arrests and putting themselves in danger for nothing. And so they're very frustrated. I also got to talk to a few that said, I'm an immigrant, right? And I came here legally, and now I'm a Border Patrol agent. This is a big slap in my face, right? I did it right, and now these people don't have to.
Talk to Vivek Malik, he'll tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
He came here the right way. It was hard. It was expensive. But he's proud of the fact he's here illegally. And it's like, well, you let all these other folks in, and why did I have to go? I look like a fool.
Correct.
I mean, if you came here the right way, you do look a little foolish, because you did things the right way, but you're actually incentivized to do things the wrong way. When you talk to folks on the ground there, what do they think about actually building the wall? My thing is, what would a wall hurt?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're obviously very supportive of the wall. They're supportive of anything. They've got high-tech camera systems. They've got all kinds of, ATVs, drones, all kinds of things to do. But the wall is it's not something guaranteed to stop everyone, but it'll at least slow them down.
But David, if you're an attorney, right, all you have to do is be on the ground of the United States and say the word asylum. If you're on the other side of the Rio Grande and say asylum, doesn't mean it. Doesn't mean anything. You have to actually get to America. So if there's a wall to keep you from getting to America, you would think that I guess I don't see what it would hurt to build the wall.
No,
it's just a partisan grudge, right?
That's exactly what it is. Donald Trump's wall was working. It was popular. It was good for our country. So Joe Biden decided to undo it, and he's really paying the price now.
Well, it's not just him. It's all of us. And then you have the Department of Labor. Well, I don't even know what you'd call the one in Missouri anymore. You have the Department of Who Gives a Damn that just actively incentivizes companies to break the law. I mean, what a fool would you be for hiring Americans to work in Missouri when the Department of Labor will beat you over the head and they actually try to make you hire illegals? I mean, you almost can't really look your business in the eye and say we're doing the right thing if you're incentivized to do the wrong thing. So another issue when you said the border agents are frustrated because they make arrests and it leads to nothing, I heard a lot of city cops say the same things. It's changing now in the city of St. Louis. Gabe Gore's come in. I think the cops feel a little bit more gusto. I've been impressed by the new police chief. But explain to folks how we don't like to admit it in southern Missouri, but let's be honest. A lot of free cheese and highways that in southern Missouri gets paid for by St. Louis. Well, explain why St. Louis and the crime rate is important, not just to St. Louis County where you're from, but to the whole state.
Yeah, no, it's a huge deal. Obviously, no one wants to live somewhere they don't feel safe. No one wants to work where they don't feel safe. And so you're seeing a lot of people fleeing, and it's making it more and more unsafe. And so we're spiraling out of control. And crime, it's the number one. It's the number one issue in St. Louis. And whether people like St. Louis across the state of Missouri or not, we have to see that St. Louis is still an economic engine.
Historically, what we do is we like to take your money and not like you.
Okay, that's fine. You know what? That's okay. But I still want us having plenty of money for you to take.
Yeah, but it does matter. I mean, the fact of the matter is, however we want to look at it, even our friends in Kansas City, St. Louis is the largest city. It is the show place of the state. It is where the most economic revenue comes from that funds everything else the state does. When you look at the things and the renaissance that's happening in parts of St. Louis, the only things those places have in common is crime is somewhat under control. If you can't control crime, I mean, it really affects St. Clair County, the crime in St. Louis City. What do you do to curtail that?
Well, yeah, you've got to increase your force, right? You got to increase your presence. The number one deterrent to crime, it's been proven over and over again. The number one deterrent to crime is the likelihood of getting caught, right? And so we've got to make sure we have a strong presence. We've armed our policemen. We've trained our policemen. We've increased our force and our presence so that people know you come to St. Louis, you commit a crime, you're getting caught, and you're getting locked up.
And I think it was a big change when Gabe Gore came in. I mean, I am not an expert in this, but the folks that are tell me there is a difference. You can feel it on the street with morale. The list of cops that they won't take reports from, that's gone. There's some things that are improving. Do you feel any improvement from your seat down in Chesterfield? Do you see any improvement yet?
I haven't felt it yet, but I mean, I am a big fan of taking it one step at a time. Let's get all hands on deck and everybody help every way they can.
When you first got elected, you were talking tax cuts. When you were in office, you were passing tax cuts. You're running again. There's a tax cut for seniors right now. Tell folks about it.
Yeah, so the state last year passed the senior tax cut bill, which allowed every county to individually implement the tax cut, right, for seniors, basically freezing their property values. So
since St. Louis County, like we complain in Cole County, in Butler County, you people pretty much just rent your property from the government. I've never seen anything like the property tax in St. Louis County.
It's been insane what our folks have had to deal with. It's been absolutely crazy. And so it was a great state legislation, and a lot of counties are implementing this, right? St. Charles County instantly picked it up. Jackson County picked it up. Well, St. Louis County comes in and flirts with it, right? And then they pass this watered down version to freeze property taxes. So, I'm a big advocate of making sure that every single senior gets it, right? In St. Louis County, you only get a tax freeze if your home's $550,000 or less, right? So every single senior who has a home that's $551,000 all of a sudden doesn't get a freeze.
And home prices have been skyrocketing. And a home that used to be $300,000 could now pass the threshold and not qualify.
Yeah, somebody who bought a home for $280,000 15, 20 years ago has been in the community paying, doesn't get that tax freeze since the COVID tax hikes, and of course the Democrats took over the assessor's office.
It is. I just don't think anybody else in the state, if you've never got a property tax bill in St. Louis County, you cannot imagine the property taxes those folks pay. I mean, it is otherworldly. So you get to the state Senate, are you going to do that for everybody? You going to tweak the law? Is that the plan?
Yeah, there's a bill right now. Representative Keith Lee has, and I believe Senator Luke DeMeyer in the Senate. But there's a bill that fixes that says no more exceptions, right? No more means testing for how much your home is worth. no more moving the age from 62 to 67. So that fix at the state level will handcuff the counties to either accept that or not pass it at all. And I think that's a really good thing. I think the counties are going to pass it.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's been some ambiguity in the law, too. The fix, I think, is going to help. A lot of county clerks and commissioners, because the provisions are a little quirky, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. I thought Senator Luke Temeyer's basically simplifying it and taking out the opportunity for exceptions and stuff and streamlining it. Like a lot of policies, the first whack at it, you see a lot of unintended consequences. Of course. The second bite of that apple seems like it's got a pretty good chance to streamline that process.
Yeah, I really hope it passes. I'm doing everything I can to support it and get it across the finish line.
Let me ask you something that most folks probably don't know about you. You spent 4 years in the state legislature, and you're from St. Louis County. You were one of the champions of agriculture in the state. Obviously, a lot of agribusiness comes out of the St. Louis area, from Bayer to other leading companies, but you were always a person that took up for the ag business here in the state. What brought that on?
Oh, well, when I was serving on the House budget, you can hear a lot of testimony, and there was always a lot of concern among my colleagues, my rural colleagues, about ag. And so I started asking questions. Agriculture is a huge industry in Missouri, if not the number one. It is huge for us. And so I started finding out the abuses that our agricultural industry is taking, the abuses from outside companies, outside influences. And so I got excited to really help, and I launched an investigation and did everything I could to help the cattlemen, to help our what's called price fixing, to help the price fixing problems we have, which is both federally and state illegal. And so, yeah, these guys are facing an uphill battle, but they're doing great. I mean, our agriculture is it's the core of the whole state, and I'm looking forward to supporting it.
Well, as the campaign unfolds, you'll come back and talk with us here on This Week in Missouri Politics.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with our Opinion Maker panel. Rising star in the Republican Party, Jeff Myers, joins us after this.
For more than a century, the St. Louis Carpenters Union has shaped our communities. Through trusted alliances, we deliver skilled professional craftspeople, while our business partners provide the kind of quality jobs that keep our economy humming. It's a blueprint that has worked since 1882. Turning Missouri into a right-to-work state stalls progress, wipes out jobs, and kills momentum. Right to work is wrong for everyone. Let's keep Missouri moving forward. Visit carpdc.org to learn more.
All throughout Missouri, businesses are struggling to find workers. Childcare challenges are a big reason why. Our kids are losing out too. Through high-impact early childhood investments, we can support the workforce of today and better prepare our workforce of tomorrow. Empower families with the resources they need to succeed. Reduce crime and avoid costly interventions, saving taxpayers money. Together, we can make Missouri the best place to work, raise a family, and be a kid.
Data captured by our state-of-the-art monitors helps us pinpoint the timing and location of severe weather more accurately and respond to trouble more quickly. Ameren, Missouri's investment in smart technologies like this is one way we're improving reliability and restoring power faster than ever. Responding to trouble before trouble hits. That's energy at work. Ameren, Missouri.
Welcome back to Missouri Politics, Opinion Maker panel time. Busy week. We brought in Jeff Myers, rising star in the Republican Party, Warren County, right?
Warren County. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. The Prince of St. James, Jack Cardetti, welcome back to the show.
Great to be here.
Ashley Aune, Democrat, Kansas City, Northland, right?
Yes, sir.
And Peter Merideth, the South City Saint, voice of an angel. How you been, sir?
Doing great.
Interesting week in Missouri legislature. The House kicked out a bill to defund Planned Parenthood. It was kind of interesting. So there's no abortions, but they still think Planned Parenthood could be up to shenanigans, right?
Yeah, apparently they want to control what a clinic in Missouri, what kind of relationship they have with somebody in another state, which I don't think is something they can do. But they've been trying to do it for a long time. They just really want to make noise about how much they hate Planned Parenthood, which honestly I think is just going to motivate more people to show up at the polls in November and establish the right in the Constitution to reproductive freedom.
Is it a little deep in the weeds, though? I mean, the right to an abortion is something I think people can understand. How you fund a company that's no longer doing abortion,
yeah.
I think it's a little bit of a tortured kind of thought process to get there. It's hard to follow.
Honestly, people also just know Planned Parenthood provides a lot of services, very important services, and those aren't abortions in Missouri right now. All these services that help prevent miscarriages, help prevent cancer, like cancer screenings, and those are the things they'd be defunding. And our outcomes on those on those scales are terrible in Missouri as is. All they're trying to do is hurt people more.
So I don't think people actually know what Planned Parenthood does outside of abortion. I think if you go for a cancer screening, do you know if you're at BJC or Planned Parenthood? I mean, I think sometimes details like that could get a little lost in your actual provider. But it is interesting. You talk about not picking winners and losers. Well, you bullied a company out of building a landfill in, picked a winner and loser, and now you're picking people where they can go for health care. The winners and losers narrative gets strained.
We talk about the healthcare part of that, I believe there's plenty of places in the state of Missouri where women's health care is provided. We have decided as a collective group, those of us on the pro-life side have said that going and coming into Missouri, offering rides to take you over to Illinois or Kansas where abortion is legal by Planned Parenthood over there, that we aren't going to support that. We don't want our tax dollars going for that.
I think that's an interesting point. You just said tax dollars. If folks want to do that as a for-profit business or a charity in their own right, they can still do that, just not with Medicaid money, right?
That's right. And the money that they're getting from Medicaid frees up money to do that. And that's, I believe, that particular bill's about.
Jag, I wonder from a politics standpoint, Republicans are in for a thumping at some point on the abortion issue. Is this a little too technical of a matter to really understand, for most folks to take the time to understand?
No, not at all. I think it's ironic. The same week you saw Donald Trump trying to get back to the middle on the issue of abortion, you have them going after women's health care here in Missouri. So it's rare that something is both bad policy and bad politics, but I think that some of the Republicans in Jeff City managed to do just that.
Break me into this. You ran a lot of big races. Donald Trump came out and said, I'm for exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother. I think a lot closer where the people of Missouri really are on this. Republicans running for governor, that's the Mike Keogh position. The other candidates, does Keogh have room to say, why don't you join me and President Trump on this?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Igola Ashcroft position, which is now much, much more conservative than Donald Trump is on this issue, I think Trump's looking at polling data across the country and seeing, okay, not only is overturning Roe unpopular, but IVF, all of these other barriers we're putting up,
data.
It is not good.
It's elections. It's not just a poll. It's in Ohio. It wasn't a poll. They actually had an election.
Yeah.
And the pro-choice folks won by 2 touchdowns.
As they did in Kansas.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right?
Tell me this, on the politics, can you go break that down to folks? And you actually have to talk to real voters, November voters, these rare unicorns nobody cares about anymore. You have to go talk to folks in November. Do they understand down to if abortion's on the ballot? That's easy to understand. Can you, in a war about abortion, also get down and explain it Planned Parenthood? And does anyone care?
Absolutely, people care. And the reason people care is what this bill essentially does is take away more options for preventative health care for low-income Missourians. And so when I go to my district and when I go to voters in my district and I talk about all of the issues that are facing us, what they're tired of and why they vote for me is they're tired of the extremism. They're done with what's coming out of Jefferson City. They know we have the most extreme abortion ban. They know that we're continuing to try to defund things like Planned Parenthood and other women's resources, and they're tired of it.
Just let me ask you this. You have your pin on, and I'm glad you explained to all of us what it is. At the end of the day, if you're Planned Parenthood and these cancer screenings and legitimate women's health care that everyone would call legitimate is there, why don't you just not offer the rides to the abortion clinic and just do that?
I think that Planned Parenthood has an incredible responsibility to the patients and the populations that they serve. And Missouri has put women in an incredibly difficult position with our very extreme abortion ban. And when folks are put in extreme positions, they make choices to band together and help one another out. And I think this is just one of the ways that women can seek help in Missouri.
So that's interesting. On this issue, it does seem to me that where the Missouri law is maybe a little further out than most Missourians. But when they go vote, they're going to vote for overwhelmingly a number of legislators that are pro-life, probably more pro-life than they are. You knock on these doors, you get these votes. I do think there are folks that have a little backlash on this. But in the end of the day, it's a pro-life state, right?
It is. And when I do talk to people, you find both sides, right? I've had people yell at me and scream at me and get off my porch. But then on the flip side, you get a lot of thank you for standing up for this. I think when we look at our values as a state, And that's really what it does come down to. And we'll talk about IP reform, but the money that gets thrown at this makes it a national issue, and it's coming from outside the state. We have some folks on the grassroots level that are out collecting signatures, but we're paying people, or there are groups that are paying people to go collect signatures to put the abortion bill on.
I've always viewed you as part of a new wave of Republican legislators that have some sense, especially good rural Missouri sense. In your gut, do you think the current law is a little further out from where most Missourians are?
Oh yeah, I'm against 98% of abortions, right? Yeah. That 2% for rape and incest, but elective abortions and using abortion as birth control, that's something that really sticks with me. I think that we need to protect that life. I would like to see us do more things as a state to make adoption easier. When I'm pro-life, I really do mean that is these kids that are born, we need to make sure that we find them homes where they can have that loving, nurturing place to be raised.
Chad Cardetti, you were in the Democrat Party when you actually had people that represented Jefferson County. You had pro-life, pro-gun folks in Jeffco. You kind of ran them out of the party, and all of Jeffco left the party. Can you turn that around?
Well, I think the Republicans are doing some of that work for us, quite frankly. I mean, if you look at traditionally, when I came into politics 25 years ago, the Republican Party was a suburban party in the state of Missouri, right? Then they started coming in and taking the rural votes, and then they have a coalition over the last 10 years that has rural and suburban votes. They're going to lose these suburban voters.
Will the IP be on the ballot?
The abortion IP?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I strongly believe they'll gather the signatures. I think people are motivated and ready to establish their right to health care and really reject, yet again, the extremist legislature and what they keep passing.
Is IP reform getting on the ballot? It looks to me like some of the folks pushing this, it's almost like if you were setting this up to fail, this is kind of what you'd do, right?
It seems that way. It very well may end up on the ballot, and if it does, it will be defeated.
Jack, I don't know. I've watched this for a while. It almost looks like the folks screaming for it the loudest are part of an end game, and I don't think they really want to see this on the ballot. Dean Blocker does. It's been his issue forever. I don't know what the coalition besides him that actually wants to get this done looks like.
Yeah, look, it's never a good issue when you have to cheat essentially to win, and that's what they'd have to do.
Like
right?
Clean Missouri. Like with Clean Missouri.
Right? Ballot
that's not a
is getting people
like with Clean Missouri, right?
Now, you just ask Missourians, do you want to make it harder to amend the Constitution? They're not for that because they realize it takes their power away and gives it more to politicians. Sorry, politicians. But that's part of why they're not for it. You can only do it by trying to trick Missourians. Missourians are pretty smart. At the end of the day, they're not going to make it harder.
Almost like when folks wanted to gerrymander a little differently, they had to trick them then. I mean, I get it. There's like constant blame. There's gambling in this establishment. But at the end of the day,
you're mixing your clean mo with dirty mo here. Clean mo was on.
They were both.
The first thing listed on the ballot was about the change to redistricting. They were upfront and honest about it, and everything else on that was a substantive change that was related to in the Constitution. Dirty mo in that
banning lobbyist gifts was not
no, that was the first ban. The reban was dirty mo that the legislature when they said, "Oh, we're just going to get rid of the $5 cap." That was the one that was ballot candy, and then they lied about what the gerrymandering party.
Folks, I can't believe I'm the only one that can see both and call spades spades. Jeff Myers, are you gonna? It just feels like the folks that are yelling for IP reform the loudest are part of a crew that's like, I really want IP reform, wink, wink. It just feels like the fix may be in and this is not going to be on the ballot.
Obviously, I'm new to this. I will play that card. But one of the
got it for like 6 more months.
Yeah. One of the things that motivated me to run was this issue. The fact that we can go in and change our Constitution with out-of-state money that gets thrown at these issues. And then all you have to do is get 50% plus one person. And most of that voting comes out of St. Louis, Kansas City, and Boone County and Greene County. Those things, I think, are what motivated me to want to look at this. Now, once you start getting into that process, I don't believe that out-of-state groups should be paying people to go out and collect signatures.
Isn't that how our statewide are elected? Don't they have paid canvassers? Don't they have out-of-state money flooding into our statewide races? Do you think the governor shouldn't count as governor? Because
I don't know that you.
What, do you think it was St. Louis and Kansas City votes that elected Mike Parson governor?
I don't think you said it, but I don't. Mike Keel.
I'm not saying you might have a paid canvasser, but you don't have somebody getting as much as in St. Charles. They put out an advertisement you could get for $40 an hour. You make up to $40 an hour. Well, that was just collecting signatures.
Do you have a copy of that?
You don't
when you
think
sit down,
have gone up to that rate too?
Well, when you sit down and you talk,
that's the work.
The canvassers themselves or the folks collecting signatures. Well, what's on here? And then you get the, well, hey, like with marijuana, don't you believe in we should have free?
Have you seen your statewide ads for candidates and how much they lie?
Yeah, it should be a little harder to amend the Constitution. That's what I think. It's not impossible, but a little harder.
Our school board
should be.
It's 5-7.
All right, I'm going to have to speak
4-7.
Changing the Constitution as it is right now in Missouri is one of the hardest things to do. There's a reason a couple hundred of these get filed every cycle, and 1 or 2 make them on the ballot. Then you're at a natural disadvantage. Missourians, if they're confused about something, they don't know about something, they like part of the initiative, they don't like it, then voter mindset is always to vote no.
Yes, I always ask.
So the hardest thing to do is to get on the ballot and then to get a yes vote. Very, very difficult.
All right, prediction time. Will abortion be on the ballot?
Yeah.
Will it make it?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think it's hard to get on the ballot. I think everyone has to go out in the next week. In the next month, I think they will make it. If it makes it, it'll pass.
Will abortion make it?
I don't know.
Will IP reform make it?
I think IP reform gets caught up in the politics of the situation.
Will IP reform make it?
The only way it's going to make it is if you strip out the ballot candy, and then if you don't have ballot candy, you can't pass it.
What happens?
What he said.
Yeah, I think voters reject it. They want to be able to override the legislature. They don't want to give up their ability.
I think it doesn't make it, just like the people pushing this planned the whole time. I think this was made to work over and manipulate activists on Facebook, and it works every time. With the minute left, Jim Myers, who won the week?
The St. Louis Battlehawks. They had their home opener, which I attended. They broke the XFL, UFL attendance record that they had set previously with 40,700 fans. So Stan Crockett can go kick rocks.
Who won the week?
Well, look, I think oddly enough, the Kansas City vote against the new money for the Chiefs and the Royals, I think which was a lot led by Jackson County. I think now you're going to see Kansas City step in a little bit more. So I think Quentin Lucas, who's done a really good job over there as mayor, is going to stop into more of the spotlight on that issue. And I think that's probably a good thing. I think they're going to be able to put something together that makes sense over there, makes sense for our whole economy, makes sense for the Kansas City region.
Well, the week.
I think Democrats won the week. We haven't truly agreed and finally passed a single bill this year in the legislature. We have sent nothing to the governor's desk, and that's good news for my side of the aisle.
Doing good work. Who won the week?
Now, I was going to say the Cards because they finally got a couple wins, right? But no, seriously, I'd say Joe Biden. We're going to spend all these Biden bucks on good things throughout Missouri, and people are going to know about it. And we actually passed a bill in the House this week that was bipartisan and overwhelming, and it's one of Biden's priorities about moving jobs back to America, back
Plus,
to Missouri.
he's giving away some more student loan money.
It does feel like Biden may be turning things around a little bit. He does seem to open up a little bit. We've seen some polling, and that money's going to be a big deal. I call it blunt bucks, but yeah, see what you mean. I'm going to say Speaker of the House, Dean Plocker, and his wife, Rebecca. It's been a long 7 months for them. Kind of nice to see a good guy vindicated. We'll see you next week here on This Week in Missouri Politics.
This Week in Missouri Politics is sponsored by the Missouri Automobile Dealers Association, Ameren, Spire, and the United Electric Cooperative.